Do you sometimes wish there was more that you could offer your students and clients with neck pain? Google would have us believe that it's that one magic stretch or that one magic strengthening move that will miraculously remove our neck pain, but it's a little more complicated than that. I'm Leela Stewart, yoga therapist and trainer, retired massage therapist, and author of 2 books on experiential anatomy. For the last 35 years, I've searched for ways to empower people to become active participants in their own healing process. And what I've discovered in that time is that when people understand something about their own anatomy, develop the interoceptive awareness to have a direct experience of that and of that part of the body relationship with other parts, and then take that new awareness into familiar movements, then everything changes. When the nervous system has that one new piece of information, then it can recalibrate everything about movement and alignment. I'll be doing a workshop with Yoga Campus starting March 19th called Release, Realign and Stabilize, Embodied Movement and Awareness for a Pain-Free Neck. So as far as the neck is concerned, it's a lot more than just stretching and strengthening. So in this workshop, we'll be looking at the neck from a multidimensional perspective, from the Koshic perspective. So yes, there's a physical aspect, how we move, how we use our neck, how we abuse our neck, the famous forward head posture as we are looking at our phone. So yes, that's got something to do with neck pain and tension in the neck. But more importantly than that, I believe, is that when the head and neck don't feel supported by the rest of the body and by the ground, then they feel like they have to hold themselves up. And that creates a lot of tension, and tension creates pain. So in this workshop, we'll look at how can we find ways to stabilize the head and neck by changing the relationship of the head and neck with the rest of the spine, with the pelvis, with the ground even. And my particular interest these days is the little joint between the head and the neck, the atlanto-occipital joint, because I see it as a gate, and when it's locked, then blood can't flow, cerebral spinal fluid can't flow, energy can't flow, emotions can't flow. So we'll work very specifically with that joint. From a pranamaya perspective, the breath and the prana kosha, maybe how we're breathing is affecting our neck. So if we tend to be more shallow upper chest breathers, then we'll be overusing our neck muscles, and that can cause tension and pain. From the manomaya perspective, the mind perspective, and the emotion perspective, for example, if we tend to be a person that doesn't want to feel certain emotions, that clamps down on certain emotions, then that requires a lot of tension in the neck so that the feeling doesn't rise to be registered by the brain. So that's another aspect, and that could be an underlying cause, a not so apparent cause of neck pain. And that little atlanto-occipital joint has a lot to do with that. So if we look at neck pain from a Vijnanamaya kosha perspective, maybe our conditioned self has something to do with how we're using our neck. So if we were taught at a young age, for example, that the world is a scary place and that we always have to be looking out for things, then that's going to create a lot of tension. And that's going to keep the sympathetic nervous system aroused, which can cause systemic tension. And even in Anandamaya kosha, if we tend to be disconnected from ourselves, from others, from something greater than ourselves, from our sense of purpose, then that's all going to have repercussions in how we hold ourselves, how we perceive, how we act in the world through our senses, through our speaking. So if this is interesting to you, then I'll see you at the workshop.